Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. Though I think it will be $1 million, I don't think it will happen for another 2 or 3 years. Also, Bitcoin and blockchain break the banking monopoly that was set up by the Medici family 838 years ago. It blew it wide open, and now we have financial freedom as the trust business is freed up, right? 7 trillion is taken out by the trust business, which includes banks, brokerages, insurance companies, and more. That T word. $7 billion from us every year. That's 68% of the world's GDP. That goes away when we tell the truth instead of trusting it. The truth is Bitcoin. Blockchain technology is what it says it is. Inflation will go through the roof if he wins and implements the policies we're talking about. The government will spend like crazy, and deficits and debt will keep growing. The printing of money will continue, which will increase the amount of money in circulation. This means that the yields on long-term treasuries will finally go up. James Lavish starts by saying that he is very sure that Bitcoin will be worth $1 million one day, but not in the next 2 to 3 years. He talks a lot about how he sees Bitcoin as the best investment he has ever made because he believes in it for the long run. There is one catch though. Lavish says that what he calls the Trump trade is just political talk that shouldn't be taken too seriously. Lavish says that Trump's possible win could have an effect on the price of Bitcoin, but the truth is more complicated than that. It's possible that Trump won't be able to make big changes if Washington gets stuck. Trump could, however, use executive orders and put pressure on the Federal Reserve and Treasury to back up his policies, which could have an effect on the market. Lavish says it's easy for Trump to say big things to get votes, but it's not clear how they will be carried out or how they will affect the market. This video has been liked, subscribed to, and post alerts have been turned on. Please take a moment to do these things. You can also watch our other videos about cryptocurrencies and digital assets in general. Please share your thoughts and comments in the part below. For the channel's growth, everything you do is very helpful for the YouTube system. Thanks and have fun with the movie. I believe in Bitcoin more than I believe in any other investment I've made in my work. But there is, and I wrote about it this past weekend, the Trump trade. This is some political talk. We have to be careful about what we believe because Trump could win any election he wants. If they don't win, they'll keep Washington from moving if the Republicans don't win. They won't be able to do much. He could make and sign orders for the government. He could work hard to get the Fed and the Treasury to help him with this. It's not clear, but he could say that to try to get a lot of votes. Okay, that's enough. Right on. I'm sorry, but Mike isn't here to show me the meat, Show me the beat line, but this is one of those times when I think that was part of that. That's a big reason why Bitcoin was so popular on Friday. Yes, it's in a range of prices. Yes, it's going around this tight level. That kind of change isn't that big for Bitcoin. Not a lot of trades are needed to make that happen. But it was interesting to see it go straight up while the market was selling off. It had nothing to do with the market at all. In fact, on Friday, it was in the opposite direction of the market. I find that interesting. If he wins and puts the policies we're talking about into place, prices will go up a lot and people will spend a lot of money. We are going to have rising prices, rising debt, and rising deficits. Okay, cash, the printing of money will keep going. It will increase the money supply, which means that eventually the yields on long-term treasuries will go up. This is because rising yields usually make the dollar stronger, which is against the trade you're talking about. To counteract this, they will have to buy more. That's not what the Treasury wants, I think. Since the Treasury has to keep borrowing money and deficits are growing, we're going to have to issue more than just T-bills. We're going to have to move out on the curve and start releasing bonds again, big time. To keep doing that, they will need the government to be the world's reserve. In this case, the dollar must be the backup. All of that has to balance out, and I don't see a way around it unless we want to print so much money that we have to buy our own bonds, which is not possible in the United States. We've also talked about that a lot, but it won't work here. We won't be able to use 2, 3, 4, or 500% debt to GDP rates here. That alone will finally make the dollar fall apart. So we have a choice, and it's not very clear or easy to understand. All of you have made good points, and none of us are experts enough to know which way to go. However, it will create confusion and opportunity, and I think it will create great opportunity in Bitcoin in particular because of all of them. I just want to make a quick point of pointing out that the story on Bloomberg says Trump is asking for $844,000 for a fundraiser seat at the Bitcoin conference. Trump did not offer places at the Bitcoin conference. The bid went up to 844,000 and the offer to sell went down to that amount. That's the bid. The bid went up to 844,000 on that balance to sell out. Of course, it wasn't that he asked, it was that he offered. He offered these seats, and that's how much they cost. That tells you how well liked he is, or how much some very rich Bitcoiners would love to sit in that fundraiser and talk to him for a minute. Mark Yusko talks about what Bitcoin and blockchain technology mean for society as a whole. He talks about how these new ideas are going against the standard financial monopoly that has been in place since the 1980s. By telling the truth instead of trust. Bitcoin and blockchain offer financial freedom, which could change the $7 trillion that banks, brokerages, and insurance companies take out of people every year. Yusko shows how technology has changed from the first mainframe computers in 1954 to the launch of the TruthNet in 2024, which is the start of a movement that will change the world. Mark Yusko talks about how gold has been used as a base for world currencies for a long time. Central banks, especially those in China, have been buying gold because they know it will always be valuable. Yusko thinks that central banks will finally see Bitcoin's disruptive potential and start to see it as a base layer for money. This change could be like how the renminbi is slowly becoming accepted in foreign trade. Also, Bitcoin and blockchain break the banking monopoly that was set up by the Medici family 838 years ago. It blew it wide open, and now we have financial freedom as the trust business is freed up, right? It takes $7 trillion from banks, brokerages, insurance companies, and other trust businesses. Yes, that word T comes up again. Every year we give them $7 trillion. That's 68% of the world's GDP that goes away when we switch from trust to truth. We know that Bitcoin is real. Yes, we've been talking about this for a long time. The mainframe computer came out in 1954, the microchip in 1968, the personal computer in 1982, always 14 years apart, because everything is invented by young people, the internet in 1996, the mobile net in 2010, and the truth net this year in 2024. This is where the process starts. There wasn't even a movement yet. The national hymn was played and we were on the pitch. We can now leave. Enjoy yourself. Go surf and enjoy the sun. Look, every single country is now okay with the idea that gold is the base of their currency. That's the only money they have. On top of that, they print money that is backed by debt. Also, JP Morgan was right. The only money in the world is gold. Thanks for everything else. So, central banks all over the world, especially China, have been buying up gold, just to get rid of it. That's why they get it. I believe there are a few more. Estonia has been rumored to have bought some, and I'm sure there are a few others. El Salvador has reportedly bought some as well. But as you say, someone will eventually figure out that gold is being messed with. Did with Bitcoin, which is why we need it to be at the core of all of our currencies as central banks. It seems likely that it will go the same way as the renminbi. I don't want the renminbi. Russia and China are also dealing in renminbi, which is a mess. Okay, fine. Some will go into the SDR. I am going to put a lot. I'll add a little, and then you'll be a backup currency. Actually, you might not be able to be the world's cash in the end. For me, the question is how much and how quickly, since nation-states aren't going away anytime soon. They could leave, right? I can imagine a world, maybe not in my lifetime, but maybe in the lifetime of my granddaughter, where we live in a borderless, nation-stateless metaverse.